Hello, everybody, and welcome here to Bristol Motor Speedway. We're here for the Fast Cash Racing Products Cup Series here. Today we got a special guest in the booth with me. Today we got Jeff Puchaski, a good friend of mine in the booth. Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Christian. Excited to see this race at the world's fastest half mile. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. Bristol, one of the more iconic racetracks on the NASCAR circuit. I mean, besides the paperclip over at Martinsville, really one of the most unique short tracks that you go to where, with the high banking and just the fast straights. Not uh, the Cup cars don't really go to another track like this besides maybe something like Dover. So, Jeff, so when it comes to Bristol, as we're gonna go on board with some of these drivers, what do you think is gonna be the strategy for these drivers here? Do you think the top's gonna be the way to go? Do you think the bottom's gonna be the way to go? Do you think the track might change throughout the race depending on track conditions?
Yeah, well, Bristol, since its construction is just a bottom groove track through and through. These legendary moments: Earnhardt versus Labonte, and the Tony helmet throw and everything. It's everybody fighting for that bottom groove. Um, However, with the new iRacing Oval refresh, there is a little bit of multi-groove action, as you can see already in practice. The 17 car trying out that high groove. On restarts, the high groove can be an option. Before the track is rubbered in, the track is slick, people on the bottom are going to be fighting for grip. You can use that outside and get a run off the top and make it really hard for those guys on the bottom to clear you. Later in the run, when the rubber lays down, you could find some speed up there. There's a lot of different strategies that people could choose, and it's really going to depend on what your game plan is, whether it's to push hard and pass cars early, or if you just want to lay back, save your stuff, let other people battle it out, and be there at the end. So it should be a really exciting race with a lot of different strategies going forward. Can't wait to see what people do.
No, I definitely agree, Jeff. Depending on what you want to do, especially with how the car's set up, right? It's going to depend on what's more comfortable for the driver. You're going to see some of these drivers ripping the top because they want to yaw that car out and potentially risk, wearing out those rear tires. But you're also going to see drivers probably going to be a little bit safer in the bottom, trying to save the tires, trying to set this car up for the long run. And obviously, hello man, a good friend of ours, KO in that inside pit wall there.
Yeah, it's really going to be, I think it's going to be really interesting as these guys get into the wall again. Lots of craziness going on in practice here. Still reckon. What would be really interesting to see is what the guys at the front do on the restarts, whether they really commit to that top and want to burn up that right rear early in the run to hopefully get the track position that they need to set up their strategy for the rest of the run. Or if people are just going to back off and say, hey, I'll run the bottom. It's a dominant groove anyway. I can save some stuff down here if I just hold back a little bit. And who knows? It's Bristol. We could have a long run or we could have 50 cautions, right? If you get a bunch of cautions, then you're better off just saving your stuff so that you can have more options as the race goes forward.
No, I definitely agree, and we do have some of those drivers that are kind of prone to saving their stuff. But you also have drivers, Noah, that we're on board with, your league owner, kind of prone to using his tires up and putting that car on the razor's edge all the time, and kind of sacrificing that long run speed. But I think Noah's talked a lot about trying to break those bad habits, and Bristol's a good place to start to learn how to do that. Right now, we're running P4 in practice right now, a fast lap of 14.481, just a little under, just a little over a tenth slower than your current fastest driver in practice of Ryan Honeycutt. Good to see Ryan out here running some races. Ryan obviously very quick and has made himself to be a very quick, also very aggressive driver as well. So interesting to see what these drivers have for Ryan in qualifying as we're getting ready to get into that.
Yeah, and going back to that point of having a good run, if you're in a slump, if you can have a good run at Bristol, you can have a good run almost anywhere because this is one of the toughest, most physical, most demanding tracks in the entire schedule. So it really shows, the cream of the crop will rise to the top for sure in this race.
I definitely agree. in my opinion, Bristol's a big driver's track, right? You're gonna see who's willing and who can, as we're doing group qualifying. That's first here in this Cup League. This is gonna be
Yeah, this will be
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. So for fans at home, when group qualifying can be pretty tricky, just because if you touch anybody, you touch the wall. If you make a 0x, like you see Noah right there getting up into the wall right there, you make a 0x contact, even if it's just a little tiny tap to the car in front of you, that lap is invalidated. You saw Noah getting to the wall a little bit there. So, oh, you see that car right behind him. That's Diego right
That's
there.
three.
That's Diego in that Patrick Star car, getting it sideways right there. That just shows right here how much cold tires affect the way this car drives. But see Diego, you know, getting that car rolled up, trying to make a good lap here. Obviously, with the way this is set up, you can run as many laps as you want until this 5-minute timer's up. But right now, Levi Hillman, your pole sitter currently, he's making contact with your race sponsor, your league sponsor, Cash Corp right there. Cash Corp's gonna give him a little door and mosey his way back on. But there goes Ryan Honeycutt right there. Probably the favorite to win here. Knocking off Levi with a 14.26 versus Levi's 14.37. And you see Kevin, also a very quick driver, knock off Levi for P3 as he's going to take over that P2 spot.
Yeah, so far we're only 2 minutes into qualifying, but Ryan Honeycutt a 10th faster than the field. Could be a sign of things to come, but Bristol, anything can happen. It is really interesting, though, this kind of bonus we have with this group qualifying, because you really only see it if you watch Formula One or IndyCar or the NASCAR road courses. That's really the only time you see group qualifying. On an oval, the few times that NASCAR's tried it, especially on plate races and tracks like Bristol, it does not go the greatest. So this is really interesting, but it seems like everybody's getting quick laps in despite a little bit of chaos here as we head the halfway point, the 5-minute quality session.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it is very unique. I mean, obviously IRL NASCAR doesn't do this, and this is the first time. I don't know if that was a mistake by Noah here, but first time that the this league has done this. I mean, you see Kevin here trying to set down a fast lap. You see him running that Chase Elliott scheme that was just announced for this 2024 season, changing up the scheme a little bit. Hendrick Motorsports decided to do a lot more blue and a lot less yellow than this last year's previous scheme. But I mean, you got to change it up for those Chase Elliott fans.
I love the blue car. I was never a fan of his white scheme. I love the blue car, and the yellow 9 on the roof just kind of ties it all together. I'm not a huge fan of Chase Elliott. I've met him before. He's a nice guy, but I love that car. That is awesome change for this coming season. And Hendrick's 40th anniversary, by the way. Hendrick's Motorsports founded in 1984. And we're about to shut down in 1985 until that 5-car Jeff Bodine got the first win for the team at Martinsville, and the rest is history. The most successful team in NASCAR history.
There you go.
40 years. Message
from Noah right here that they're going to continue to use open quality except for plate tracks, kind of like they did back in the day when, what was it, in the mid-2010s, right, when they bring all the cars out and make laps.
The COT era and the Gen 6 era, they've done some group qualifying.
There you go.
That'll be a really interesting addition to this season for oval racing, for this league at least. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
No, I definitely agree, because not only does it, it makes it a little bit harder for the drivers to make a lap, it's also kind of an advantage depending on the track, right? Like you think of like a Pocono or an Indy where draft is such a huge thing, and like as Noah said, they're not going to be doing it for a play check. Oh, you see Ryan Honeycutt getting up there in front of. It's like the 31.
A strategy like that where you have the guys setting the quick time, getting the way of his competitors, and hey, we have to start thinking about penalties there.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody that's a fan of the ticky-tack penalizing that they do in Formula One, but if you set a lap in Formula One and you bring out a red flag, that can invalidate your lap. Same goes with IndyCar. There's similar penalties. So as we see the 9-car get into the 32 head on as we end qualifying with Ryan Honeycutt as your pole sitter.
Ryan showing his dominance right here. Obviously, fastest in practice. Comes out here, sits the pole lap here. A little under a full tenth faster than Kevin. Kevin's been a podium driver all season long, but you see him getting knocked off by Ryan. I think this is at least from the high velocity teams broadcasting, this is Ryan's first race here. So very excited to see what Ryan can do here. Only 9 drivers elected to race here at Bristol, and I mean Bristol's a really difficult track, so I honestly, in a way, not surprised, right? Bristol's very daunting. I mean, and depending on how people look at it, as you mentioned before in the pre-race, it can be, you know, a bit of a caution fest. But with the race about to start, let's go ahead and get your starting lineup. So on your pole, sitting on your pole right here will be Ryan Honeycutt, as we talked about before. Kevin Hudsicker going to be rounding out row 1. Row 2 is going to be Jamie McKinney and Levi Helleman. Row 3 is going to be Noah Hamilton and Adam Johnson. And Jeff, you want to take them the rest of the way?
Sure thing. Row 4, we got the 57 of Cash Culp next to the 21 of Tane Hodison. Rounding out the field in row 5, we got the 3 Patrick Starsheim of Diego Rodriguez. Now that'll round out your field for this 250 lap feature. Thunder Valley, world's fastest half mile, Bristol, whatever you like to call it. One thing is for sure, it will be an entertaining race, so don't go anywhere.
No, I definitely agree, Jeff. And 250 laps, pretty daunting. I mean, that's quite a bit of laps even for a Bristol type track. Like I ran in leagues where you do 200 a max, so very daunting. A lot of laps for here. So I mean, all these drivers have to learn, you know, that, you know, it's 250 laps. You cannot, you know, burn up this car early. But lights are off on the pace track, so we will be going green right after these cars come out of turn 4 here.
Yeah, this is really a driver's track, but also an endurance track. I've only ever run about 200 laps or less here in a single race. So 250, I mean, a half-length Bristol night race, pretty much. It's going to be a great challenge for these drivers, and it's really going to show, you know, who's got it and who doesn't, who's hot and who's not. We're excited to see as we got 4 Honeycutt, the 9 of Hunsaker on the front row. We've seen Chase Elliott versus Kevin Harvick battles here at Bristol, haven't we?
Yeah, and depending on who you're rooting for, they've come out good and they've come out bad. But hopefully we can get a good battle between that 4 and the 9 again, and put on a great show for your fans at home.
Pace truck's going to take the field into 3 and 4. Make the hard left right here.
We're green at Bristol. See Ryan Honeycutt out here, already out to the lead here. Everybody's single file right now. Content just kind of running where they are. But you see side by side right there for P2. You see that 17 get really sideways out there, but able to save it. Levi already showing how difficult the track can be on these cold tires.
Yeah, you can see Levi also pushing about a lane and a half up the track just a little bit. As you see him almost peek to the inside of the 9 there. He's just searching for, you know, getting some temperature into his tires early in the race. Maybe he's trying to get past the 9 because he knows he can compete with the 4 on speed, but really just trying to search for the fastest way around this place.
And see that number 32, where Jamie already starting to rip this wall here. Like we said before, I thought we saw some smoke right there. You see the third, Jamie's one of those all the other drivers that are going to put that car on the razor's edge and try to get as much as they can out of the car. You see him, you know, starting to run the middle a little bit more, but look out for Jamie to, you know, try to push his car as hard as he can on these first couple laps. We have a little bit of a blink out here.
You also see Noah Hamilton as he get past the 32 of McKinney. Noah Hamilton also making use of that high groove early in this race. Now he slots back in the bottom behind the top three.
And
Going into the 17, still pretty loose onto the straights.
And you notice all of these top 4 drivers already moving as well all the way down to the bottom. You see the 17 and 9, just you would say like a quarter, half a lane up, trying to get a little bit more out of it. But you already notice these top 5 drivers already working their way back into the bottom, trying to, maybe preserve a little bit of tire. I believe these drivers have 4 or 5 sets of 3 or 4 sets of tires. My apologies. So definitely have to conserve these tires the best they can, because you make one mistake, you spin this out, and you have to use up one of those sets of tires. That's going to really hurt you and hurt that strategy especially. So you see all these drivers electing to just run the bottom, run this race out right now.
Yeah, right now all drivers so close together on lap times. That's what you get with these next gen cars of these tracks. They just perform so well under sharp turning, so well in the braking. Lots of downforce in that rear diffuser. Can make it pretty challenging to pass, but you can see here Levi in the 17 is still all over the back of that 9 car.
And you see these top 3 have kind of gotten out to a little bit of a lead. You see Noah right here about half a second behind this guy, with Jamie just close by, and then you see Cash Cope all the way back here in 6th, about 6-7 tenths behind your 5th place driver Jamie McKinney. You see Tane about 2 seconds behind Cash. Adam Johnson about 1.5 seconds behind Tane, and Diego rounding out the field out here about 4 seconds behind PA and about 10 seconds out behind your leader. And that just shows how fast Ryan and these top 3 are going. I mean, they're within the straightaway of Diego already. I mean, I know Diego was having some issues in practice trying to get that car settled in, but he needs to start figuring out this track right now before he goes in jeopardy of already going a lap down with 16 going to 17 complete here at Bristol.
Yeah, that's one thing that we didn't talk about in the pre-race, but it's so important at Bristol, lapped traffic. You can see Diego is over 10 seconds behind the leader, Ryan Honeycutt here. But with 14.5-second laps like the field is running, he's going to get caught in just a couple laps, especially with the pace that the leaders are running at. You can see the 32 getting past the 24 of Hamilton back there for 4th. He's closing back in on Hilleman for 3rd.
And you see Levi, starting to fade a little bit. He was up there with Kevin and Ryan, and Levi starting to start to fill this car out and starting to fade back, and Jamie starting to mix it up to take this last podium spot here. Noah falling back. A lot of front end damage of that number 24 car. Must have had some type of mistake that we did not catch, but lots of front end damage of that 24 early in this race.
Yeah, he had a major issue. No wonder he lost at least 4th place, and he's getting caught by the 57 of Cash Culp. Man, he is, looks very tight, drifting up the track. Obviously lost a lot of speed and front downforce with that front bumper being completely missing. I wonder what happened to him there. He just has to salvage the best he can out of this run here. Not something you want to do 22 laps into this race.
And definitely, you see Levi right here getting passed by the 32. Jamie, making his moves up here and putting himself into the last spot of this podium. Levi right now just looks like he's tight and cannot get this car to rotate through center, and is really giving up a lot of time right there. But you see Ryan already getting around Diego. Diego not giving him a hard time, but Ryan already catching lap traffic here on lap 25, right? We're 25 laps in isn't really a lot here at Bristol with this half-mile track. You see Kevin trying to make his way around this number 3 Patrick Star Ford Mustang right here. Let's see if Diego's also going to give him all the room he needs, and he does. So Kevin getting around Diego right here. And you see Tane not that far up the road here. Tane and another SpongeBob car, looks like. Tane and Diego obviously teammates. It looks like he's in that Sandy Shore machine. really, I think that's really fun that they're, you know, having a little theme night. I think whatever that team is trying to do, I mean, I appreciate it. You see Kane getting up in the wall there, and already Ryan is in camera shot of this number 21 car. You see the 21 car already getting up into the fence right there. That's not what he wants to see there.
That 21 car struggling. We see this 4 car make quick work, a little bit loose. See if we can get the pass done here at 1 and 2. And that 21 car, he does. 21 gives him the bottom there. Very courteous of him. Only 29 laps into this thing, just over 10% of the way through. But with a race this long and this tough, it's the little wins that matter. Ryan Honeycutt's your leader.
See Ryan Honeycutt already out to about a 2-second lead over Kevin here. Kevin, you know, I think these two have really checked out of the field right here. You see Jamie back here in third, about 2 seconds almost 3 seconds behind Kevin. And like I said earlier in the pre-race, I think Ryan and Kevin were the two guys to be. Obviously, Ryan lights out right now as he's getting ready to get around Cash Cope here in that number 57 car. And that just shows, you know, he's already lapped up to P6 now and looking to charge in and try to get around Noah Hamilton, who still has this front end damage.
Yeah, Ryan Honey, I think got the class of the field so far. Lapped up to P6 and already stalking the 24 of Noah Hamilton.
Right now, Noah about 12.5 seconds behind Noah, and Noah's running 15-second lap, so I mean it'll be probably what 2, 3, 4, 5 laps and before Ryan gets to Noah. Obviously, like we said before, Noah's car probably not handling the best with that damage, and you see him already in camera shot as we talk about it.
Yeah, Honeycutt's lapping about 7/10 faster a lap than Hamilton. And compared to the rest of the field, he's at least a 10th faster than the entire field right now. So he's really managing his tires the best and just running his race. And obviously it helps that the pressure's off him a little bit. He's got almost a 3-second lead over the 9 in second place. We'll see how this shapes out as this run goes on.
I definitely agree. I mean, it's like I said, it's so hard to gauge what you need to be doing. It's almost I think a little bit of contact there between the 24 and the number 4.
24 almost got into him there. Could have been big.
But you see number 4 make his way back. But as I was saying before, it's so hard to gauge what you need to do to improve when you have a driver that's this much quicker than even your second place driver. I mean, 43 laps, we're taking these off pretty quick, but I mean, a 3-second lead. He's got it down to about 2.5 now, but I presume Ryan lost a little bit of time trying to pass Mr. Hamilton there. But still, I mean, I don't know what you can do as a driver to gauge like what you need to do to change this car up. Not sure when these drivers are going to need to come in for fuel. Obviously, from what I was told, they have 3 sets of tires, so they're going to have to make those stretch quite a bit. So, not sure what fuel's gonna look like, but you see Kevin right here, still I would say 2.5 the 3 seconds behind your leader Ryan Honeycutt, but big props to Adam Johnson right here, making up spots, already up to P4 from that, making up from that poor qualifying spot. You see, Adam started 6th, up 2 spots already. So taking advantage of that, but you see already Ryan Honeycutt, as we've been talking about, already lapping up to the 4th place driver and we haven't even hit lap 50 yet. So, I mean, Jeff, what do you think these drivers need to do to try to, you know, do something about this Honeycutt right here? I mean, at this pace, he's going to lap the whole field before we get the lap 100.
Well, at this point, it's going to be a little bit of damage control from these other drivers. And you said it, track position is everything at a track like Bristol. So it's great that Johnson in the O2 was able to get a couple of spots back after that qualifying effort. But you can see he at least took 50 laps, 20% of the race to go a lap down to Ryan Honeycutt, who's obviously been the class of the field and the quickest driver so far and continues to be with a 3-second lead over the field. So it's really going to be about, from now, you know, once staying on the lead lap, and then once you get lapped, be in position for that free pass so that you can get a free trip around under a caution. But also it's just going to be listen to your car, right? You know, even though it's not the place that you want to be if you go a lap down, you really need to make smart decisions, be listening to your tires, listening to how the car handles, whether you need to move up or down the track. You see some more people that are actually Honeycutt staying closer to the bottom, but you see some more people further back in the field that are using the middle and top grooves more often now to try to find speed. You see this, and that's exactly what this 9 car in second is doing in the O2. So it's going to be really interesting to see who ends up shaking out the winners and losers of this run, because obviously Honeycutt's way out in front. But maybe there's some guys that their car's going to come alive, you know, 10 or 20 laps from now, and they're going to start making up some real ground.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, maybe Kevin and stuff. Kevin's been one of the big notorious guys for, you know, having a car that's set up for the long run throughout all these races. You see him barely getting the ball there, but not enough to affect the run. But we also missed, I think, Levi having an issue. He's right now currently out of the car, 22 laps down. So unfortunate for Levi. Obviously, it looked like he had a fast machine here, but I mean, he also looked very unstable in that number 17 car. So unfortunate for Levi. Obviously, a good friend to me and Jeff. But you know, I mean, that's Bristol for you. I mean, one of the trickiest car track combos you can run here, especially with how slick this track is. And speaking of the track, you know, let's take a look at our weather here. 86 degrees here, with a little bit of wind here, partly cloudy. So I mean, 85, that's pretty warm track conditions for a normal race here down here. I mean, most league races are around 70 75-ish. So 86 is quite a bit warm, which is explaining why some of these cars are a little bit, you know, a little bit sideways. That track is very hot.
I'm just thinking, that's beautiful weather for Tennessee this time of year. Man, sounds awesome.
Yeah, definitely. 86 going into December, winter. I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, that's prime time right now, and I mean that'd be crazy to think that, you know, it'd be 86 in early December. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen, but yeah, I definitely agree. That's definitely a great day to be watching a race here in Bristol.
Here you see this 9 car, just trying to find any grip he can. Now he's trying that middle groove out, kind of diming in the corner a little bit and tracking out on exit. Just trying to find any time he can to just at least maintain that lead that's now ballooned to 4.5 seconds that the 4 Ryan Honeycutt has over this field.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, he just figured something else out. I mean, you see Jamie, 3rd place car, I mean, doing his best to, you know, like as you said, you know, damage control, but he's 12.5 seconds behind. I mean, 2 seconds behind. The leader's 2 seconds behind him, and if we get the right camber angle, I mean, you can see him, I mean, in the camera shot once again. So Ryan, I mean, just showing that he is the guy, and without a mistake from Ryan, I mean, he's basically got this in the bag, right? Obviously, as you talked about earlier in the show, Jeff, managing this lap traffic is going to be huge for Ryan, but it seems like all these cars are being very cordial, giving Ryan as much room as he needs to, you know, get the pass done. I mean, and I don't think we're probably going to see a caution, just because, unfortunately, just there's not the car count to, you know, really negate a caution. Everybody's kind of spread out. As I say that,
a slow car. That's the 0-2. He's gonna keep it up high. I don't think that'll bring out a caution, but just as you said it, that's the announcer's curse.
Yeah, right there, commentator's curse.
Almost just happened for us.
Let's take a look back and see what happened with this 0-2 car. Like battling with Cash Culp here. Trying to give Cash as much room as he can. Cash trying to be fair, and ooh! Just a little bit of contact there. And a good save by that 0-2 car. But very scary for Ryan right there, getting around this lap traffic.
Yeah, Johnson's got to be fuming under that helmet. I mean, he had the run off the top. He was about to clear the 57 to Culp, and then he gets into his left rear. Call that a racing deal. It's Bristol, but that's a tough break for him.
I definitely agree, and I heard on the audio that the 21 had been DQ'd, question mark, from my spotter that I accidentally turned off. I heard an earpiece saying that Hodgson had been disqualified, so I don't know if they have an X limit on here.
Wow. Maybe he was black flagged for not meeting minimum speed?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He was pretty off the pace, and he was riding around in the back. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you see Tane right there sitting in pits. It looks like he's taking a hold, so I'm not sure what that's about. Looks like he did take some 4 fresh tires while he's in here. Doesn't look like there's any damage on that car. But definitely very interesting. Yeah, it looks like that car is clean. I don't think they did get a fasty, so very interesting. But yeah, he's sitting in there taking repairs right now. Tane 8 laps down now. It's so easy to go laps down here with how short this track is, right? Half a mile, 14-second laps, 15-second laps. You know, you're sitting there for 30 seconds. That's 2 laps easily. So unfortunate for Tane right there, but we'll see if he gets back out here and tries to finish this race out.
Yeah, even for Bristol standards, though, Honeycutt is putting on an absolute clinic. He has lapped the field twice up to the P4 position. Third is a lap down. His only competitor is Hunsaker in that 9, who's 5 seconds and counting behind the 4 cars. You could see him get through more of that lap traffic. I think the thing with the lap cars is it gets really tough when, you know, it's a full 40-car field like we see in, you know, races like the Bristol night race and the races on TV. But here, when you only have 9 cars starting the race, it gets pretty spread out, and it's easy to pick off lappers one by one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, once again, like I think that the competitors know that Ryan is the guy. Like, he's putting on a complete masterclass here, like you said, even for Bristol standards. And I think, you know, they're just trying to run these laps out, trying to get the best position they can. Like I said, without a mistake by Ryan literally killing his car, I mean, I don't think anything is going to be stopping him from, you know, completing this masterclass. I mean, obviously there's a lot that still can happen with, I mean, we're not even halfway done yet here at Bristol, so a lot can still happen. And as you said before, you know, he's going to have to get around these lappers. And, I mean, getting around lappers in general is just tough here at Bristol, but luckily these lappers have been very cordial, letting Ryan kind of pick the line he wants. And, you know, just doing what he needs to. You see Diego Rodriguez right here coming down pit road here.
Yeah, when your lap's down like Rodriguez and most of the field is, you got to try anything to try to get track position. Or, oh, as we got a spinner, catch Colt. Almost into the inside wall, but saves it. What a save.
What a save by Cash right there. Let's take a look at that. This gets
We're
loose.
going to stay green.
Yep. Staying green. I mean, I mean, you can't save that car any better right there. You
Full lock on the steering, full lock on the front brakes. Wow.
You Cash a dirt racer in real life, and definitely putting that dirt racing skill to use right there. I mean, that car was completely out of control, and I mean, he did the right thing, lock it down, get that thing down out of the racing groove, get that thing saved, and then keep going, man. What a save by that number 57 car.
We are just past the 1/3 mark in the race, and Honeycutt is only adding time to his lead since we started or continued talking about him. Wow. We see now we have the 0-2 in the P4 position coming in for his stop.
You know, Hamilton also in the pit too, but you see that O2 exiting his pit stall. Gonna merge back up here. Clean and green right here. I'm currently in the P4 spot right here, and he's gonna merge with a little bit of some cars here. So, see that number 9 car trying to get around this lap traffic of the 32 of Jimmy McKinney and Tane Hodgson right here. And right now, you know, this 9 car kind of put in a box for a little bit. Right now, he needs to find a way out to get around this number 32 car.
Yeah, this is a situation that this 9 car in second place, trying to do anything he can to track down Honeycutt, does not want to see. You see the 0-2 on fresh tires, trying to peek under him. He's not going to get there. He's got the 3 also on fresh tires right on his bumper. He's trying to run that high groove. Not going to get past the 32 that time. Now he's going to dive to the bottom. The 0-2. Oh, he's going to make contact with the 32. Move him up the track a little bit. I mean, at this point in the race, you're fighting for your chance to win. Your chance to just get back to Honeycutt and try to race. It's elbows out at this point.
Yeah, this is by far probably the closest and best racing we've seen all race. I mean, once Ryan took that lead, he kind of started to run away. So this is probably I mean, by far probably the closest racing between, you know, several cars that we've seen. But you see those faster cars with the faster tires get around this 9 car. Saw the 9 get around Jamie. And actually, Kevin lapping Jamie right there. So maybe that's why that 32 is. We have some issues.
2 cars slow on the high side.
Take a
Down
look.
to 1 and 2. The 0-2 involved. We'll take a look at that. The 0-2 and the 3 off of turn 4. Johnson getting loose, and he overcorrects right into Rodriguez.
Keeps it up on the wall. I mean, that's. I mean, you gotta feel bad for Dig right there. Kind of just running his own race and kind of got caught up in something out of his doing. He's, you know, had so much bad luck throughout the season right here. He's been basically caught up in stuff out of his doing all season long here, and getting caught up in that O2's shenanigans, unfortunately.
And the 3, Rodriguez just trying to, you know, starting in the back, just trying to keep it clean. Hope that it's a race of attrition so we can gain some spots. You can see he's up from 6th. He's up from 9th all the way to 6th place already. You can see some damage to the front nose of that Patrick Starford Mustang, though. It's unfortunate for him. Hopefully he can still bring it home with a decent finish. You can see, though, there's a little bit of traffic starting to bunch up now in front of this 3. 3 and 0-2 are back side by side. Now they spread out a little bit as we get past the century mark, 100 laps into the race here at Bristol.
See Kevin back here, back to 8 seconds behind Ryan, and we haven't really looked at Ryan that much. I mean, he's been, once again, class of the field. I mean, we all know he is, I mean, just literally showing these drivers the way to do it, but these drivers just cannot match him. I mean, and you even see the leader right here. I mean, putting everything you can in this car. You see him, you know, doing that car round, especially on the exit of these corners. And but I mean, I can't say how many times. I mean, Ryan's just doing an incredible job, just dominating this race right now. I mean, lapping all the way up to P2, has an 8-second lead on P2, which is, you know, almost half a lap if you think about it, to Kevin here in P2.
Yeah, it's actually more than half a lap that he's leading Hunsaker by in that 9, and Hunsaker is just really, really struggling right now. You can tell that he's trying to stay out as long as he can to make those tires last, so at least he can have a chance to be on strategy with Honeycutt in case there's an issue on pit road or a spin on the pit exit or some kind of black flag situation. As you can see, there's cars on fresher tires that are just whizzing by him right here. He's trying to run the top. You can see him scraping the wall on occasion in these corners. He is really struggling. He's really just praying for his crew chief to bring him down pit road this time.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows the tire wear here. I mean, 100 laps is, I mean, quite a bit of laps here, even for Bristol. And you saw even the damaged car of that 24 Noah Hamilton, no front end, easily making the pass on this 9 car. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, that 9 car's struggling right now, but I mean, he's got to try to do everything he can to, you know, put himself in a position to potentially win this race if a mistake out of Ryan somehow happens right now. I mean, still on the lead lap, 10 seconds now. He is behind the leader, but I mean, one mistake here at Bristol can cost you, I mean, half that time for Ryan.
Yeah, and the 3 knows all too well that one mistake can cost you with that 0-2 overcorrecting and getting into him on corner exit. So you can see the 3 on fresh tires approaching the 4 of Honeycutt. This should be interesting. He's just going to let the 3 by. Oh, yes, he will. Ryan just really in tune with his car. It seems like he's just putting in absolutely no effort at all, just flawlessly driving that thing, flawlessly controlling it. With worn tires, you know, no stress at all. He's got a gap that's up to 11 seconds now, so nearly a whole lap. He's going to be coming up on that 9 car to lap him pretty soon here, unless pit stops happen first. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan nearly half a second a lap quicker than Kevin here. I mean, Ryan ran a 15.7 to Kevin's 16.1. So, I mean, he's done everything right. I mean, he saved tires better than Kevin. He's just been outright quicker than Kevin throughout this whole run. So, I mean, maybe these fresh tires can maybe equal the playing field here for Kevin. Maybe Kevin found something that he just needs a fresh set of tires to maybe try to run down this number 4 car. But right now, I don't know what anybody else can do to give a shot at this number 4 car. I mean, obviously, some of these guys on the fresh tires are getting their laps back. Jamie, I think right now getting a lap back, going 2 laps down. Let's see when the timer resets. Yeah, so he's still 2 laps down, but I mean, this shows how faster these drivers are on these fresh tires. Like Jamie right now, this 3rd place driver, 14.7 to Ryan's 16 flat. So 0.3 of a second faster these tires are, and I think that's almost more impressive than Ryan, right? Ryan's been out for almost 125 laps and is only 0.3 off someone who is on, you know, 17 lap tires, right? He's on literally 100 lap older tires and is only 0.3 off some of these freshy guys.
We can see he finally did complete the pass of the 9, officially lapping the field. Wow. What a race here by Honeycutt. And I think if Hunsaker wasn't that far back, I feel like a pit stop would level the playing field, and here's why. Take a look at their best laps of the race. They're almost identical. The fastest lap of the race goes to Noah Hamilton in the 24, but they're 2 and 3, and they're almost identical fastest laps of the race. As here he comes finally. He's had enough. The problem is that he's just so far back on the track, and even though he's in the free pass position, we don't see any indication of there being any yellows the rest of the way. And Honeycutt still is going to overcut him here on this pit stop, stay out longer, have fresher tires at the end of the race. It's going to be really tough for Hunsaker to do anything in this 9 car.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, he's gonna be going a lap down, and we know that. I mean, multiple laps down, probably 3-4 laps down here, and with him just getting lapped, that's gonna be so hard to make up that time because he's gonna have to unlap himself the hard way until Ryan decides to come down and take tires. Which, who knows when he's gonna do that, right? I mean, I'm not sure how far he can go. He might be able. I mean, I mean, we know as we have a caution.
Wow.
I'm trying to find.
Hunsaker and that 9 crew are probably kicking themselves in the foot right now. Man, if they would have stayed out a couple laps more, they could have had the whole thing saved. They would have been in the free pass back in the lead lap. They would have had another shot at this thing.
I'm trying to.
Oh my goodness.
Figure out what this caution was called for. I don't see anybody losing spots. Obviously, it's hard to see when the ticker. I mean, everybody's on their kind of their own separate lap. I'm not sure what that caution was for. We can.
We're hearing the scanner audio that it is a stage break.
Okay, stage break.
It's a halfway stage. Wow, really unfortunate for that 9. If he would have just known that that was coming. I mean, I have to think if he knew that that stage break was going to happen, he must have had an issue that he had to come down right away, like a blown tire or something. I just can't believe that he would bring it down on his own will when he knows there's a stage break coming and he knows he can get a lap back. Then it's almost reset. He's starting at the tail end of the field with the free pass, but still, you're, what, maybe a couple seconds back from Honeycutt, then 2 laps behind him that you are now.
Yeah, he will stay out, so he will get one of these 2 laps back and go 1 lap down, but he's still, you know, going to be starting at the tail end of this pack. And you still have Jamie McKinney that is 1 lap down that just came in and got fresh tires. I mean, obviously, Kevin did not really run any laps on those, so really that's going to be the battle for P2 now, is that they're both going to be on the same lap. You know, starting at the back, obviously, Kevin will start at the back getting the free... we have the 32 stopped. I think maybe I presume the 32 should be the lucky dog, so he might be stopping to let people go for the EOL maybe. I'm not sure.
He gets it back going again here.
It's going back going.
I'm just still shaking my head at that pit call from the 9. I just don't understand that decision at all. Unless it was an emergency and you had to pit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can come to my mind is, you know, you saw he was struggling bad, especially with that tightness. He might have, you know, blew it right front and got that meatball, right? And obviously, when you get that meatball, you have 3 laps to come in and do whatever service, whatever that is. If that's changing your tires, if that's coming down and getting damage fixed, right? So maybe he didn't have a choice and had to come down, and, you know, I mean, he obviously didn't have any damage, so maybe he had to come down, was forced to go down and take a set of tires before this stage caution.
So we are just over halfway through the race, 120 laps to go. What do you think, Christian, that Ryan Honeycutt is thinking here?
I mean, as we're green here, I mean, I don't think he really needs to worry about anything, right? He's lapped the whole field. He's got Cash 4 laps down is the first car behind him, right? I mean, the Cash is probably going to race. The only thing I'm worried about if I'm Ryan is these guys are racing me hard, right? Trying to get their laps back, as you see Cash Cope doing right here. Trying to do something to get his lap back, but the only thing I'm worried about is maybe getting wrecked, getting put in a bad spot from these drivers trying to get a lap back. You see Tane going on the inside of this 57. Looks like he's going to make the pass here.
Yeah, if I'm Honeycutt, I'm hoping for no cautions the rest of the way because I know that I'm faster than the entire field. I have a lap gap plus ahead of everybody else. You can see that 21 being very aggressive on the high side, but if I'm the 4 car, I'm just ripping that bottom, saving tires, letting everybody go if they're being aggressive.
No, I agree. I mean, he really has. I mean, he has nothing to lose. He has a lap on everybody. He can afford to, be hyper, conservative right here. I mean, you see the 32 going around. He's gonna get his lap back. You see Kevin. It still shows two laps down to Ryan here. I thought with that waiver on it would have brought him the 1 down, but see this number 9 car gonna try to make this high side work. He's gonna try to get around and be the first car lap down here in P3.
Yeah, that's another thing that is really important to notice is that 32 of McKinney actually leapfrogged the 9 car after the 9 car made that pit stop under green before the stage break. So that 32 is on the lead lap now. So if a caution were to come out, he is the second place car on track. And Hunsaker would still get back in the lead lap with a free pass, but he'd have to restart in the back. So Honeycutt's not worried about any of that. He's saying, let's hold the caution flag in the flag stand, keep it down, don't wave it. We want the rest of the way, we want it to go green. So as you see the 32 and the 9 racing hard in front of him, 9's going to get that run off the high side off forward. He's going to clear him.
Yeah, I think
this guy's been very, very aggressive, trying to make up any track position they can because they know that this might be the last time all race that they're close to other cars.
I agree. I think this 9 is really just trying to run away from this 4 car. You see the 4 car starting to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. He's, consistently kind of stayed on the back bumper of this 32. I think this 9, he knows he has to go. He's got to get away because, if you go, he was very aggressive on the start to get around this 4 car to put himself 1 lap down. You got to continue to, push as hard as he can to, keep that 1 lap down because, with how few cautions we're most likely going to get here. The reason we got that caution was for stage. We were not probably going to get a caution all race. So, if we do happen to get a caution, he cannot afford to be more than 1 lap down. As you see the 32 remake the pass on this 9 car, and you see the 9 car already struggling to find the grip and to find the rotation on these corners.
Yeah, if I'm the 9 car here and the 32 is being aggressive, reminder, the 32 is fighting to stay on the lead lap. Honeycutt's only 1 car behind him. So if the 32 wants to be aggressive, if I'm the 9, I'm saying go right ahead. You're trying to go, and the 9 is just thinking, well, as long as I stay ahead of this 4, I can kind of save my stuff a little bit, and I don't need to be aggressive with this 32 car at all because they're, I'm not battling him for position. So you see this top 3 right here, they're all on different laps, but they're actually having a nice little balance on track.
Yeah, and you see Ryan being very patient right here. He knows, once again, he has nothing to lose. But the closest car to position for him, he's about to lap again, really. So right now he's being very patient, not trying to make any aggressive moves. With these two, going side by side, they're using their tires up. Just trying to, stay in front of each other. Who wants to lead this line? And, right now, Ryan's right there just kind of riding around on the bottom, saving his stuff, and then, he knows with time, if he needs to get around him, he's going to have the better tires with how hard these two have been pushing.
Yeah, you said it 100% correct. The person that's loving this battle the most is Ryan Honeycutt. Just sitting back, watching, having a nice Sunday cruise, and letting these guys burn their stuff. We say, hey, go right ahead. They all get past that 21 car, putting him now 10 laps down as this battle up here continues on. The 4 getting a little bit close to that 9. Let's see if he tries to go for a pass here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, and regardless if that 4 is faster, this 9 has to make it as hard as he can to make this pass work. This is basically his race on the line right here. He's 1 lap down. He cannot afford to go 2. with how little amount of cars there are remaining here in this race, there's probably not going to be another caution. So whatever thing he needs to do here, he has to try his hardest right now to keep this Ford behind him. But also that 32, you know, not really pulling away from this 9 car. And that's like as I'm talking about, it's really upsetting the balance of that car. It has to be having all that dirty air on the front nose, plus you're getting all the air taken off of the rear end with that Ford peeking his nose in there every lap.
Yeah, right now they're just sort of gridlocked with McKinney leading this little pack, and then Hunziker and Honeycutt. So Honeycutt gets really close to the bumper of the 9 car there. That 32 is loving what he's seeing in his rearview mirror. And at the same time, hoping for a caution somewhere on the track.
Yeah.
Right back in this race.
Yeah, definitely. That would be Xander's, not Xander's, Jamie's saving grace right here is a caution. Because it does really put him in a position again to fight for this win. Obviously, we know Ryan is probably the fastest car tonight, but you know, anything can happen, right? I mean, all you have to do is get around that 4 car if you get an opportunity to. I mean, and then that 4 car is gonna have to repass you back, right? As they say, really at any oval, you know, it's easy to get to them, but it's so much harder to, you know, actually complete that passage. You see this 4 car struggling to do with this 9 car of Kevin Hunziker. I mean, I think this 4 wants by, but he's not willing to, you know, try to run this top, try to burn up his stuff. Woo! What a save by that 9 car. And I think that 4 is finally going to get around them, but, you know, Ryan's not going to try to push to get around these guys.
Yeah, that was the mistake from the 9 that Honeycutt was waiting for. As you can see, 9's going to fight back on the outside. And rip that top. Oh, and the 32 checks up in the bottom lane. Honeycutt gives him a little shot. They're all going to be okay, though. As I say that, the 32 comes up the track. They're neck and neck into 1 and 2. Oh, Honeycutt's trying to run that top. He's going to clear the 32. That puts him a lap down in the free pass position.
And you see, I think you're starting to see Ryan saying, okay, that's enough, right? I've ridden enough. You guys are, you know, kind of in a way holding them up, even though he doesn't really have anybody that's like trying to catch him or anything. These are the guys that are trying to catch him, and they're quite literally holding him up. So, but you saw Ryan, you know, I think he's starting to, you know, start to get that rhythm back, and was tired of running behind these guys. Probably putting all that dirty air on the nose was probably not helping the tire wear, not helping the handling of that car. And he was like, okay, well, you know, it was fun watching you two battle, but I got to get around here, guys. So, and you see him already, you know, pulling a pretty decent gap already on these 2 cars.
Yeah, 100% right. Anybody that tells you that clean air doesn't matter, show them how much time Honeycutt made in those couple laps since he got past those guys. He was saving his stuff, kind of biding his time a little bit. But when they started making mistakes in front of him, he was going to pounce. And now that he's out in the lead, he is out to already a couple second gap on these guys. And now he's completed lap in the field once again. So McKinney is now second place, 1 lap down in the free pass position.
I mean, you think about it, like, if we go on the nose with this 9 car, this 4 car is probably already out of the shot almost. Oh my god, what a save. I mean, as this 9 car is entering the straight, Ryan's getting ready to, you know, exit it and go into the next turn. And I mean, it's only been 4, 5, 6 laps since Ryan got around this 9 car. So I mean, that just shows how fast and how consistent this number 4 car has been all race.
And you see that little wiggle from Kevin in that 9 car, just so indicative of how fast he burned his stuff up on that restart. I mean, he was fighting to, you know, have a shot of still being in this thing if a caution came out, and man, it's really showing the results of that now. They're not good ones for him.
I agree, but once again, I mean, Ryan putting on a clinic here. I mean, we're going this, we're closing in on 75 to go here. Still quite a bit of laps here at Bristol, but as you see this 4 car trying to get around to 24 of Noah Hamilton. Noah right now currently in P6, 11 laps down, but still no front end of that number 24 car, but hanging in there tough, trying to make the best out of what he can here, and you know, A for effort.
That is a sentence that you will be hard-pressed to hear anywhere but Bristol Motor Speedway. 6th place and 11 laps down. What a performance this has been by Honeycutt. I know we've been saying that all race and we sound like a broken record, but man, he is just gapping everybody. Short run, long run, lap traffic, effortless as he rides his way with close to 70 laps to go in this race.
And I mean, like, all Ryan really needs to do is just ride around. I mean, he's even if he isn't saving, even if he is, right? He was 6/10 of a second faster that lap than Jamie, and I mean, there's not really a whole lot that Ryan needs to do to maintain this win, maintain control, and these other guys can just kind of just ride around as well. I mean, there's not really any battles on track. I mean, we do have Cash Culp and Adam Johnson on the same lap, but Adam 3 seconds back to Cash. Cash right now actually running a little bit slower than Adam, so Adam slowly catching Cash right now. Cash ran a 15.43 versus Adam's 15.37, so look out for that, for Adam to be catching up and maybe making this a good battle for 4th.
You can see in the time it took you to say that sentence, Christian, Adam's already gained a full second on Cash. So this could be an interesting battle shaping up, 4 laps behind the leader here. But in Honeycutt's case, all you got to do is just bring it home, right? Take as much time as you need with the lappers. You've been the class of the field all day. You know exactly what kind of management you need to do with your tires and being careful on the exit of the corners. And all you got to do is just keep doing what you've been doing, and you're golden. So, but I am excited to see this battle with Culp and Johnson. That could be coming up soon. Seems like Cash is maintaining the lead at about 2.25 seconds-ish, 2.3 seconds to the 0.2 of Johnson. That's the closest battle we have on track, folks.
You see Ryan right here still continuing. I mean, like, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, sneaking up on 60 to go here. Luckily, these laps go by fast, because that's all Ryan is looking for. These laps go by fast. No cautions is what he needs, because even though he is the only car in the lead lap, I mean, Jamie is still here, 1 lap down. I mean, if he gets a lucky dog, he's gonna be, you know, on the same lap as Ryan. He would have to drive through this field, but once again, luckily for Jamie, there's not a lot of cars left here. So what, he'd restart, what, 6th, maybe? 7th, it looks like. So it's not like, you know, he'd have a big struggle to get through this field, most likely. So, I mean, Ryan right now doesn't need the caution, but I think Jamie would like one. I think Kevin would potentially like one. And I think a caution would stir things up, because we're in that part of the run now that, you know, drivers could come down, maybe take a set of tires, and maybe change things up, right? I don't think, I mean, if Ryan would stay out and these others would take tires, I mean, we saw how much faster the fresh tires were over the old ones, but right now, Ryan just lights out really the whole race, so.
Yeah, I think you talk about people who want a caution. I think the only person on this track right now that doesn't want a caution is that 4 car. You see him have a little bobble on the backstretch here. Um, you know, it's true, anything can happen on a restart, and we've seen how fast the people are on fresh tires. However, we're getting to a point in the race with coming up to 55 to go here where there's only so much that you can do when the whole field's a lap down. All Honeycutt has to do is he can let the whole field by if he wants to. He just got to bring the car home, and he's got it. So, still passing lap traffic, though. Got the 24, still with no front bumper. The 4 makes quick work of. Coming up again on the 32. And that is going to put the final car 1 lap down, 2 laps down. "32 is not going down without a fight."
No, definitely. I mean, Jamie's has to stay ahead of this 4 car. I mean, I can't stress it enough that I mean Jamie cannot afford to go 2 down. But when you're running at the pace that Ryan is, I mean, I don't know what else you can do, right? I mean, you can try to race him hard, burn up your stuff, and then eventually get passed by him. I mean, the only other thing I can think for Ryan is he'd have to get caught up in something out of his doing. So I don't think he'd make a mistake either. But I mean, you never know. But
Yeah, that 32 racing Ryan hard just did not work out in his favor at all. You can see Ryan's putting up a couple seconds on him already. He tries to make work of this 21, which was kind of just eyeing that battle from behind a couple laps ago. We're now under 50 laps to go and counting in this race. Oh my! And the 4 is going to save it! Just when we said the one thing Ryan Honeycutt does not need is to have any danger to his car while bringing this thing home. And wow, he's going to need a change of underwear after that one. Unbelievable. The 21 gets in the wall right in front of the 4, the one spot on the track that Honeycutt did not want to see that in. And that's going to bring out the yellow flag. Looks like we got a spinner of the 0-2. That was a cause of caution. But wow. I bet Ryan's got some choice words with that 21 after that. See, Ryan's going to come down pit road. Might as well. He's 2 laps ahead of everybody else. 24 Hamilton as well. Everybody else is just going to have to try and get their laps back. So the 32, the 9, the 57, and the 0-2 staying out for their waiver rounds. It's going to put Jamie in that 32 back to 1 lap down. Hunsker in that 9 also back to 1 lap down. But even still, it's going to take a lot more to happen for any of those guys to challenge Honeycutt for this win here. Coming up on 43 to go. Even if we get multiple restarts, there's just not a whole lot you can do when Honeycutt has that track position. It looks like the 3 of Diego Rodriguez is back on track. They're spending over 10 minutes on pit road, repairing damage, taking a bathroom break, who knows. So we get ready to go green here. The 9's going to get his lap back. Honeycutt will be starting with the 21 car on his outside, who actually is a 6th place car in the field right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys are going to manage. Honeycutt and the rest of the field is going to manage getting past him. So Paystark's going to make the hard left onto pit road. We're back green at Thunder Valley. 41 laps to go. Honeycutt cuts a great jump off the line. And he is gone. Flawless restart from that 4 car. Exactly what he wanted to see. No spin in the tires. No issues in the back. Now he just needs to set sail. He's already catching the 3 of Rodriguez pretty quick. And he's just going to let him by, pull down to the bottom of the track. I guys probably think right now, man, it is so nice to have new tires. Doesn't even matter that he's a lap ahead of the field. He's just glad he can run some fast laps, have some fun out there in the car. 35 laps away from a win at the last Great Coliseum. So we talked about the possibility for chaos earlier in this race, and honestly, this has been a very tame race for Bristol. You know, only one DNF, and that was Hilleman in the 17, who was running the top 3 or 4 on pace, but had to park it for some unknown reasons. Everybody else still putting around on track. You can see, as if you needed any more proof that Honeycutt is just a class of the field. We have a caution. Just as I was saying, you can't see anybody else in the frame. We have another yellow flag. We'll wait till we get word on what caused that. But pending investigation, the 32 of Jamie McKinney will be back on the lead lap. Sitting there in that free pass position. Man, Kevin in the 9's got to be kicking himself right now. Man, if only I would have been ahead of that 32. I could have been back in this thing. He was the only guy all race to be able to be kind of close to that 4. Which was in the first 100 laps, that long run that he had before the stage break. Still no word on the cause of that caution, as Honeycutt's going to bring it down pit road once again. As is Hunziker in the 9 and Johnson in the 02. The 3 car of Rodriguez already in his stall. You're hearing a Diego Rodriguez self-spin in that 3 car was the cause of this caution. And now we sit here with 30 to go in this race. And we have a challenger to Ryan Honeycutt in the form of Jamie McKinney on the same lap as him.
Yeah, Jamie, as I said before, he needed this caution, and he's gonna get it. And I mean, this is exactly what Ryan didn't need to see. But once again, Ryan has shown with 30 laps to go. I mean, he honestly just needs to keep the car in front. I mean, Jamie's gonna have to, you know, work its way through the field and then try to battle this Ford for the win. So I mean, it's gonna be a lot to do all that with not that many laps to go. I mean, we're gonna be going what, 25-ish laps to go here at Bristol. Not a lot of time for this number 32 car to get up there and potentially race for this race win.
That's a tall task for the 32 car for sure, but he has a chance. The chances go from impossible to low. So you're telling me there's a chance? Yes, there is. And it's Bristol. We've seen in the past. Historic track, anything can happen here. So we're going to see this 9 of Hunziker actually start on the front row next to the 4.
Okay, it'll be one lap down. You're going to see that number 32. So I like the inside here. And let's see if he can get a good jump off this restart. So with 27 laps to go, we're green here.
Once again, Honeycutt gets a great restart, just looking to set sail off of turn 2. Exactly what he needed. Absolutely flawless. They're side by side behind him.
And once again, this is exactly what Jamie did not need. He cannot afford to have all these guys racing him. He's like, come on, guys. Like, you guys aren't even on the same lap as all of us. And I mean, if that's not the final salute to all of these drivers, I mean, this is like 26 going to 25 to go. I mean, he's already almost a second and a half out in 2 laps. So you can't say it enough. Ooh, the Ford gets a little, you know, tied up there. He's going to get into the wall. We cannot say enough how impressive this run has gotten for this number 4 car. Going 24 to go.
4. Nothing wrong for Honeycutt, though. He's got it under control, as he has this entire race. As they're battling hard, almost bump drafting with the 32 of McKinney on the 9. That's something you don't see every day at Bristol.
No,
9 slots up in front of both of them. Wow. What a great little battle we're having here. I'm sure
yeah.
Jamie doesn't want to see it, though.
Jamie's probably a little frustrated, but I think right now he's just like, here we go. Like, you guys want to race, and let's race. I don't even care if you guys are a lap down. I mean, let's put a show on for these fans at home with 22 to go.
That frustration boiling over a little bit. He's taking elbows out right now. You saw him a couple laps ago, got into the left rear quarter of that 9 car. Now thinking better of it, going to try the tops, even get a run on straightaway off too. He's going to try it again in 3 and 4, back to the stripe. Going to be 21 to go.
And he's getting a good run off the top right here, but that 9 is rolling the bottom really well right now. But he is going to be on the outside right here. Let's see if he can keep this momentum up and get around this 9 car. And then see, I mean, with 20 to go, let's see if he has anything for this 4 car. I mean, it's going to be a tough task. I mean, 2 seconds behind this 4 car. I mean, Jimmy's got to pull something out of nothing to try to catch up to this number 4 car. I mean, he's been by far the fastest car all race, but you know, it's never over until it's over. So let's see what Jamie can do here.
Yeah, 32 is gonna need a caution, straight up. There's no way that he's catching that for a Honeycutt, and he got the first step done, which was get past all the lap traffic, and the last car being the 9. Now he has clean air in front of him, but there's just no way that he's gonna have what it takes to get back up there. With only coming to 16 to go here, there's not enough time left in this race, unfortunately, for him.
And unfortunately, this 9's giving him a lot of pressure behind, and which is probably upsetting the way this 32 is going to drive. So you see the 9 going around the top. The 32 is going to slide in behind him. I mean,
wow, not at all what he wanted to see.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I think that was like the final, you know, the final send right there for that 32 car. Unfortunately, I mean, I think it was, out of desperation, he tried to get on this 9 car, thinking he could, use that clean air to his advantage. But you see, I mean, even Kevin is starting to gap this 32 car. I think Kevin has the second best car, and just, I don't, like I said, I don't know if it was, out of necessity, or maybe he just didn't know that stage caution was coming out. But kind of, threw away that P2 position by going down, getting laps down, and honestly impressive that he's gotten all the way back up to 1 lap down here, coming 10 to go.
It is. You could tell even with 10 to go and him still being a lap down, he is still wheeling that thing hard, really yawing it out, having to overcorrect at the exit of 2 and 4. He is still driving that. There he does it again. He's still driving that thing hard. Just trying to finish strong after, a woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of day. Still going to be a podium. Still a really good result for him. But I'm sure he'll be thinking later today about what he could have done better in this race.
Yeah, 9 to go here at Bristol. I mean, and this number 9 car is the only one within the same, second on lap times as him. Ryan right up here. I mean, obviously a 9-second gap already to P2. So I mean, that really shows how much that 32 car is really falling off. But I mean, Kevin and Ryan are the only ones that are in the 14s. Everybody else, Jamie's running 15.7s versus, Ryan's 14.7s. So I mean, at this rate, if Jamie keeps running at this pace, I mean, he might even be in contention being lapped with 6 to go here. So I mean, I know Jamie has really nothing there to go for, but I mean, you still got to step it up and at least, keep his head high, and as the only driver that potentially is going to be on the lead lap at the end of this race.
I mean, who would have thought that? The 32, having to work his way through the field to get to the 4 on that restart, just 20 odd laps ago, he's already a second or 2 away from being lapped. Look at this. The 4 is under him now. What's he going to do here? Is he going to defend at all? There's really not much he can do. He lets him by easy. And you can see, with his average pace of that 32, he is a half second to a second below his average lap times now because he burned his stuff up racing those guys at that restart.
When you can see him, he's just like really just having to pedal this thing around. You can see him having to kind of just, be really cordial with this throttle. I mean, you see him, he cannot get into the gas on these corners because he was forced to use this car up. But as we see that Ryan, final lap for him here, and he's gonna come across and win here at Bristol. What a dominating win by this 4 car. Unfortunately, no one was even within the ballpark of this number 4 car. I mean, he laps the field, and you don't do that here at Bristol. You just simply don't do that. So I can't say enough how much of a dominating win this is for Ryan. Obviously, we know he's a very talented race car driver, but I mean, that is something that you don't see a lot here at this Bristol Motor Speedway.
As he burns it down here on the front stretch, what an impressive win, a smart win. Just class of the field both on the track and also strategy-wise, the whole race. Just didn't try to do too much. He knew his speed was very good. Just kept the car clean and did everything that he needed to do, even though it got a little bit messy there at the end with some cautions that he didn't want. Doesn't matter at all for him. He's burning it down all the way around the track.
Yeah, you see that number 4 Gravedigger car. I mean, we never got to mention this before, but a kind of a nod to the 2021 season where Kevin Harvick ran that Gravedigger car at Nashville Super Speedway, and once again the only race that car ran. I mean, obviously for most people recognize this car on a monster truck, right? For the Gravedigger by the Anderson family, who's made this monster truck very famous. And you see, obviously Ryan running this next gen style Gravedigger scheme here, and What's in victory lane? Obviously, me being a Harvick fan, I mean, I'm not opposed to seeing this dominating win by a Ford car. I mean, um, we should have seen, you know, that should have seen the Ford car go to victory lane in 2021, but unfortunately, as we talked about earlier in the pre-show, did not get that. So, but as we're gonna go through, let's go ahead and go through your race results here at Bristol here. You see Ryan Honeycutt obviously winning your race here. Jamie McKinney coming out P2. What a, you know, impressive run by him. You know, definitely lucked out by, you know, that stage caution coming out. Kevin, by far the second fastest car. Just, you know, once again, we don't know if, you know, he had a blown tire, if something happened with the rig, and I don't know what happened, but still comes out with a P with a podium finisher. Cash Culp comes out P4, 5 laps down, and Adam Johnson rounds out your top 5. Jeff, you want to finish off the rest of the results?
Yeah, in 6, we got Tate Hoditson in that 21, 12 laps down, and Noah Hamilton in the 24, 13 laps down. And our only 2 DNFs of the race, Diego Rodriguez in that 3, stuck it out for a long time, but tapped out there close to the end, and Levi Hillman, who was out of it early in this one, rounding out the field in P9. What a race here at Bristol. Ryan Honeycutt, class of the field.
Yeah, I mean, Levi and Diego, I mean, hard track, everything for them. But let's go ahead and see if we can get Kevin up in here for an interview, and we'll interview you, third place driver. Hey, Kevin, it's Jeff and Christian up in the booth. You got a copy? Hey, Kevin, Jeff and Christian up in the booth. You got a copy? It appears that Kevin is muted. So probably AFK, you know, trying to get some water, trying to, you know, cool off. You know, Bristol, very demanding racetrack. So let's see if we can get in a third place driver of Jamie McKinney.
Yep.
Hey, Jamie, is Christian and Jeff up in the booth? You got a copy?
Yep.
So P2 finish for you. I mean, obviously a grueling race for here. Bristol, very challenging racetrack. So just walk us through your race and, you know, how it went for you.
I mean, like early in the race, I was struggling with the setup, even though I made it myself. I was struggling early. Well, I felt good for a bit, and I was just hanging in through the entire race until pit stops happened. The fresh pair of tires. Then I only led a single lap, but that's okay. But like, I kind of like choked the race by not winning it, since I've always been so close to winning one of these races, but just not executing it is just demotivating, but we'll move on.
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, it's always that like little bit of a sting. You know, being the bridesmaid here in these cup races, but you know, it's always good to hang your head high. And, you know, P2 is nothing to complain about. But any questions for Jamie, Jeff?
Yeah, Jamie, I wanted to know what you were thinking on that last restart. You know, probably not expecting that you have another chance at Ryan there for the win. What was your mindset going into that restart? And then, you know, how are you feeling, you know, battling those guys? I'm sure you weren't loving it that they were a lap down in front of you, you know, racing you that hard when you were trying to get up to Ryan for the win.
Yeah, I was actually really thankful for that. But like the restart, Kevin just did not take off. I thought we were gonna get a great restart and get past Ryan, but like Kevin just didn't go, and kind of struggled for a bit past him. Then started to fall back. Then a lap car started past me, and I was like, oh god damn. What if they were on the lead lap? Probably would have finished at P7, but I'm not Noah, am I? But it was okay.
Yeah, well, we could tell once that 9 car got past you there at the end with, you know, 15-ish laps to go that, you know, just too little too late, but still great result with the P2, and it was great team race today. Good job.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Anybody you want to thank for this P2 finish? Any friends, family, any sponsors before we send you off to celebrate with this P2?
Yep.
Well, that was Jamie right there, your P2 finisher there. And like I said, still a great run for him. Obviously, Ryan, the class of the field here. And yes, the broadcaster did forget that Kevin Mike's does not work, but he was just in the Discord, probably just communicating. And we do not see Ryan Honeycutt in the VC at all, so I don't think we're going to be getting an interview with our race winner here. So once again, we'll go through our race results one last time. Ryan Honeycutt, your winner here. Jimmy McKinney, Kevin Hunsaker rounds out your podium. Cash Colt, Adam Johnson, Tane Hodgson, Noah Hamilton, Diego Rodriguez, and Levi Hilleman rounds out the SC field here. But Jeff, obviously Bristol grilling track, and obviously Ryan really, showing everybody that he was the car to beat. Obviously fastest in practice, qualified on the pole, and literally, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can look at the stats. I'm pretty sure he led almost every lap besides some of those pit cycles. Let me see if I can grab Ryan's thing right here.
That would not be at all surprising.
249 out of 250 laps. I mean, you cannot dominate any more than that, right? We talked to Jamie, and he said he did get the lead one of those laps, probably from, I presume, Ryan coming down pit road during that stage caution, right? So, I mean, you can't. I mean, that's all you have to say is like that. That's just pure dominance right there of what you have. I mean, I'm speechless, right? I've never seen anybody go out here and do this before in a cup league. I mean, I've seen a couple of bushwhacker incidents and like a truck league where like a cup guy will come down and sweep the field. Even in an Xfinity league where some of the higher tier cup drivers in that same league will come down and clean out the race, but I've never seen that before. So, I mean, gruesome race, but like, I mean, well, any final remarks on this race, Jeff?
Yeah, just impressive performance is the one word that comes to mind for Ryan Honeycutt in this race. The one thing that we didn't talk about, we talked about chaos early in this race. There can be chaos at Bristol, and we did see a little bit of that. But the flip side of that is that if there's no chaos, there's typically domination. And that is everything that we saw out of Ryan Honeycutt today. Great win for him. Great runs for Jamie McKinney and Kevin Hunsaker in the 32 car and the 9 car. Impressive performance today. And it was great to experience it from the broadcast.
No, I definitely agree, and I really do appreciate you, Jeff, coming down and helping me out in the booth today. Solely unable to make it here, and it was a blast having you up here, and hopefully we can have you back there again up in the booth. But besides that, once again, Ryan Honeycutt, you dominating winner here in the Bash Cash Cup Series. We will see you here next week on Friday, I believe. I believe we do not have a off week here. So once again, Jeff, hope to see you here in the booth soon. I had a great time. And to everybody at home, thank you guys so much for coming out, watching the stream, participating. Thank you, Luke M, for the follow, by the way. Thank you, Flashy, for the follow. Thank you, Sawiki, for the follow. Everybody who supported the channel, I really appreciate it. I'm so happy that we are getting a lot of support here on the broadcasting side. And once again, Jeff, thank you so much for coming in here and being a part of the broadcast.
No problem. It was a pleasure. Can't wait for the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great night.